They used to warn children in Mwaku like it was a bedtime song. River Oji does not give without taking. The elders said it with calm faces, the way people talk about fire. Not because fire is evil, but because fire does not care if you are rich or poor. Fire burns. But when hunger sits in your house like a stubborn visitor, you stop listening to songs and warnings. That was how Amara stopped listening, and that was how her trouble began. Amara was not born wicked. She was not even greedy. She was only tired. Tired in the way a person becomes tired when life has hit them too many times. Her husband, Obi, had died 3 years earlier. He was not a rich man, but he had strong hands and a strong heart. When he was alive, their farm produced enough yams and cassava to feed their 3 children and still share with neighbors during festivals. But after he joined the ancestors, everything changed. The rains refused to fall properly. The soil turned hard like old clay. Even when Amara planted early and weeded with blistered hands, the land gave her nothing but small, sad leaves that died too quickly. Her children began to look thinner every month. At night, Amara would lie down and hear their stomachs making noise like small drums. Sometimes her youngest child, Kelechi, would cry, "Mother, I'm hungry." Amara would pull him close and whisper, "Sleep, my child. Tomorrow will be better." But tomorrow kept coming with the same empty pot. Neighbors tried to help. They gave her small bowls of gari, sometimes a piece of fish, sometimes leftover soup. They spoke kindly. "Sorry, Amara, we will pray. But pity is like a shadow. It follows you, but it cannot carry your load." One evening, after her children slept, Amara sat outside and stared at her small farm. The moonlight made the dry soil look even more hopeless. That was when the memory returned to her. An elder's voice from her childhood. River Oji does not give without taking. Amara swallowed. Her throat was tight. If the river could give, maybe she could survive. Maybe her children could survive. And if the river must take something later, she would think about it later. That night, Amara stood up and made a decision she would regret. She waited for the moon to hide behind clouds, not because she was ashamed, but because fear loves darkness. Amara took a small basket and placed inside it 3 things: a white calabash, clean and empty, a single silver coin, the last one she had, and a piece of white cloth, because she remembered the elder said spirits like clean things. She wrapped the cloth around her shoulders and began to walk. She passed the last hut in the village. She crossed the boundary where the trees became thick and quiet. The forest swallowed sound. Even crickets seemed to hold their breath. Amara's feet stepped on falling leaves that cracked softly like bones. As she walked deeper, her fear grew louder, but her hunger was louder. Finally, she reached the shore of River Oji. The water looked black under the night sky, moving slowly like it was thinking. A cold wind blew across the river and made Amara shiver. She knelt beside the water and placed the calabash down. Then she dropped the silver coin inside. The coin made a tiny plink sound. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Amara almost stood up to run. Then the river stopped, just like that. The water became still, like someone had pressed a hand on it. Amara's heart pounded. A voice came out of the river. It did not sound like a normal voice. It sounded like many waters speaking at once. "Why do you wake the deep?" Amara's whole body shook. She bowed her head quickly, her forehead touching the ground. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I am sorry to disturb. Please, please help me." The river began to bubble gently. A shape rose from the water. It was not fully human, not fully fish. Its skin shone like wet stone. Its eyes were pale like moonlight trapped inside water. And when it smiled, there was no warmth, only patience, like a hunter who knows the animal will fall into the trap soon enough. "Speak," the water spirit said. Amara lifted her head, tears already in her eyes. "My husband died," she said, voice breaking. "I have 3 children. My farm is dead. We have nothing. I beg you, give me wealth, give me food, let my land grow again." The spirit's eyes did not change. "I can make your soil fertile," it said. "I can fill your home with gold." Amara's breath caught. Hope hit her like sunlight. "But," the spirit continued, and the river made a low sound like warning thunder, "hear my condition." Amara nodded quickly. "Yes, anything." The spirit leaned closer. Water dripped from its face. "Because I am the water that gives life, you must never deny a thirsty traveler a drink from your well. If you break this vow, I will take back everything." It paused. The night became colder and more. Amara's fear returned for a moment, but then she remembered her children's hungry cries. She remembered the empty pot. She remembered Kelechi's small voice, "Mother, I'm hungry." Amara bowed quickly. "I agree," she said. "I will never deny a thirsty traveler, I promise." The spirit's smile widened, slow and sharp. "Then go." The river moved again like nothing happened. Amara grabbed her basket and ran home, not even looking back. The next morning, Amara awoke and almost screamed. Her farm was green. Fresh leaves stood tall. The soil looked dark and wet like it had been watered all night. Even the air smelled different, like rain and life. Within 2 weeks, her yams grew large, her cassava fattened, her vegetables stood proud. People came to see it. "Amara, what did you do? Which fertilizer did you use?" Amara only smiled and shrugged. "God is good," she said. Soon, she began to sell her harvest. Money entered her hands like a steady river. One day, she counted coins and realized she had more than she had ever seen in her life. And the strange thing was, it kept increasing. Even when she spent, it returned. Her goats multiplied, her chickens multiplied. Traders started greeting her with respect. Some even began to call her Queen Amara, not because she wore a crown, but because wealth followed her like perfume. Amara built a proper house. Then she built another. Then she bought land. In 5 years, she became the richest woman in the kingdom. She had servants, she had guards, her children wore fine clothes and ate good food. And yes, she dug a well so deep that the water never finished. At first, she kept her vow. Whenever a traveler passed, she would say, "Drink." Whenever a poor person begged, she would give them water. It felt good. It reminded her of who she used to be. But time is dangerous. Time can turn a humble heart into a proud one. And wealth is a strange medicine. It cures hunger, but it can poison the heart. As Amara grew richer, she grew different. She stopped sitting outside with neighbors. She stopped laughing freely. She began to speak like someone above others. She built a high fence around her estate. Her gate became tall and strong. She replaced her old calabash with cups made of shining gold. When people greeted her, she expected them to bow. If someone spoke carelessly in her presence, her guards chased them away. Inside her, something cold was growing, not because she was born evil, but because she began to fear losing everything. She began to protect her wealth like it was a child. And when you love something too much, you start to act ugly. One afternoon, her servant came. "Madam," the servant said, "a woman outside is thirsty." Amara waved her hand, gave her water and sent her away. Another day, a boy came begging for water. Amara frowned. "Why do beggars always come here? Is my well not the only well in the world?" Her servant looked worried. "Madam, your vow." Amara snapped. "Don't teach me." But still, she kept giving water even if her heart was no longer kind. The vow became a burden, a chain, a reminder of the river, and Amara hated reminders. It happened during the season of the fierce sun, that kind of sun that makes the road hot enough to burn feet. That day, Amara was in her compound, sitting on a fine chair, sipping cold drink like a queen. Then the guard shouted from the gate, "Madam, someone is outside." Amara sighed loudly. "Who again?" The guard opened the small door. A lone old man stood there. His back was bent, his skin was dry, his lips were cracked like broken clay pots. Dust covered his clothes. He looked like someone who had walked for days without rest. He leaned on the gate, breathing hard. "Please," he croaked, "my daughter, I have traveled from beyond the mountains. Just a single cup of water." Amara looked at him with annoyance. She glanced at his dirty feet. She imagined dust on her clean floor. She imagined people saying, "Queen Amara gives water to every beggar." Something ugly rose inside her. "Old man," she said, voice sharp, "my well is not for people like you. Be gone." She turned to her guard. "Close the gate." The gate slammed shut. The old man did not move. Amara could see him through the small window of the gate. He lifted his head slowly. His eyes turned pure white. Amara's throat tightened. The air changed. Wind stopped. Even the birds became silent. Then the sky cracked open with a terrifying roar. Not rain, not thunder. Something deeper. Something angry. Amara stepped back, trembling. A voice filled the air, loud like waterfalls. "Amara!" Her servants fell to the ground. Her guards dropped their weapons. Amara's heart nearly stopped. The old man's body began to change. His skin became wet. His shape melted like water. And rising behind him, taller than any person, was the water spirit of River Oji. Its eyes like moonlight, its face calm and terrible. "You denied the water," the spirit boomed. Amara fell to her knees. "No, no, please." The spirit's voice shook the earth. "And so the water shall deny you." Amara screamed. Suddenly, her golden cups turned dull. Her jewelry cracked. Her money chest burst open, and the gold inside turned to dust like dry sand. Amara crawled forward in shock, grabbing at the dust like she could turn it back. "No, no, my money!" The ground began to shake. Water rose from the earth, fast, wild, angry. It surged into her compound like a hungry beast. Her walls cracked. Her fine house trembled. Her servants ran, screaming. Amara stood and tried to run too, but the water was everywhere. It swallowed her garden. It swallowed her storehouse. It swallowed her gold rooms. Her palace, her golden cage, began to sink like a stone. Amara cried out, "Please, I'm sorry." The spirit watched, calm like the river. "You were hungry once," it said, "and I fed you. But you forgot the taste of thirst." The water rose higher. Amara climbed onto a stone, shaking, crying like a child. In minutes, everything was gone. When the water finally stopped, it disappeared as quickly as it came, leaving silence behind. And where her estate once stood, there was only dry, cracked earth, the same earth she started with. Amara looked around, breathing hard, her body weak. Her children stood behind her, crying. She had nothing. No gold, no walls, no servants, no guards, only tears. Tears that fell like small drops of water onto dry ground. And the cruel truth hit her like a slap. The only water she had left was the water from her eyes. The villagers came running when they heard the roar. They found Amara sitting on the ground like a broken pot. Nobody mocked her. Nobody laughed. They were afraid because they remembered the warning. River Oji does not give without taking. An elder stepped forward slowly. He looked at Amara with pity, not the fake pity that talks, but the real one that understands. "My daughter," he said gently, "wealth is good, but a good heart is better. Amara cried harder. I was tired. I was hungry. I didn't want my children to suffer. The elder nodded. But when your suffering ended, he said, you became the suffering of others. Amara bowed her head. That day, Amara learned something painful. The spirit didn't destroy her because she became rich. It destroyed her because she forgot mercy. The ancestors teach us this. Do not let the blessings of today make you forget the struggles of yesterday. True wealth is not measured in gold, but in the kindness you show to those who have nothing. If this story touched your heart or taught you a valuable lesson, hit the like button and subscribe to African Super Tales by Enyinna for more unforgettable stories. Until next time, walk with wisdom.